About a year ago, I went to the Westtown Mall for this free yoga class they were having on a Sunday morning. There were about 10 people in there, all spread out on their yoga mats between the pants and the shirts and the headbands for sale. We had a lovely yoga class, and when we were finished and we were kind of rolling up our mats, a woman a couple mats down from me said, "Hey, this is really weird, but did you tell a story at Madison Story Slam?" And I said, "Why, yes, random stranger, I did. Would you like to be friends?" And we became friends. We met up at the next Madison Story Slam, we shared some food, we talked about who we were, and I goaded her into telling a story, and we have been friends ever since. I love Madison Story Slam, and I go every single month. I always tell a story, I always bring wine, I always bring a buttload of friends, and I always make friends with somebody new. I've heard so many awesome stories at Madison Story Slam. A couple of my favorites. Sammy told a story about a year ago about going to visit his family in Amman, Jordan, and he got in a taxi with his grandmother, and his grandmother turns out to be badass. I also always love Meat Man's stories. The hot dog throwing is definitely memorable, but also I think one of my favorite stories from him is when he went on a road trip and his buddy lost his boot somehow and it ended up under the wheel of a car in some town. Sorry, spoilers. And then I always love Zach's stories. I really like the one about throwing the pot into the lake. That was really funny. I've told some stories at some other slams, like the Moth, but Madison Story Slam is definitely my favorite. It's a little smaller and homier than the Moth, and it feels like a really strong community. I don't feel nervous anymore getting up on stage and telling a story. Everyone is really encouraging, especially to brand new storytellers. Some of the best stories that I've heard were told by first-timers who did not plan at all on telling a story when they walked into the room on that Saturday night. Moral of the story, support local storytelling, especially support Madison Story Slam. Come listen to some stories at the next slam and maybe tell a story yourself. Thanks, y'all!